Well, g'day everyone. It is another day, it's another episode. We're on to episode 2 of the Authentic AFL podcast. Well, today I wanted to go through our All-Australian team. Now, the 40-man squad got released yesterday. The 22 are being released tomorrow night with the AFL Awards night. It's going to be massive tomorrow night, and we're going to do a review of that tomorrow night. But first, we wanted to give our All-Australian team. Now, not everyone's going to agree with it. Like the AFL put out today, their team is pretty different to ours. Number one, we don't have Gawn in ours. I know, shock horror. And number two, we do not have Hawkins sitting on the bench. We have him at full forward. But we're going to start from the back line. Actually, we'll start the back line, and then we will work our way forward and then finish on the bench and announce our captain and vice-captain as well. Now, we have included a sub as well, because if we were playing this weekend, then we would have a sub. So we've also got a sub in that. Here we go. At fullback, we have gone Stephen May, the most consistent fullback of the year. Yes, he had some indiscretions and some things he has done very wrong during the year as well, but we have him at full back. Now, in the back pockets, we've got Tom Stewart and James Sicily, two of the best intercept defenders in the league. Now, we didn't put a small because in that back pocket because of the fact that Stewart can play tall and small, and same with Sicily, he can actually play quite small as well if need be. Now, going to the back flanks, we have Braden Maynard on one flank and Jack Sinclair on the other flank. And at centre-half back, we have the one and only Sam Taylor, who I think has been an absolute stalemate for the Giants this year. I think if he wasn't in the team, then they would have had a lot more goals kicked on them, and they would have lost by a lot more and be lowered down on the ladder. Now, that back line, I think, could perform really well. Maynard and Sinclair as two very, very good two-way runners, and can even move up to a wing or into the midfield if need be as well. But both played predominantly in the back line. Maynard can play a bit taller as well if need be. Sinclair is, I think, one of the best flankers we've had in a long time, who can really just run up and down the field. Now, two people that I think missed out on that spot for us is Daniel Rioli and Callum Mills. But I don't think you can go past Maynard and Sinclair. Rioli, I think, has been probably the fourth best halfbacker in the league this year. He has been next level, being able to convert goals as well, and being able to have that capability to run up the ground but get back defensively as quickly as possible. And I think if he can work on his defensive role, playing on those small forwards, then he will be an All-Australian lock in the 22 next year. Now, that's our back line. I would hate to be forwards playing on that back line, but I'm going to go to the forward line because I like leaving the midfield till last because it's the big statement piece. So in the forward line, at full forward, we have Tom Hawkins. In the pockets, we have Charlie Curnow, the Coleman medalist, and Charlie Cameron, the two Charlies next to Big Tomahawk. Now on the flanks, we have Isaac Heaney and Shai Bolton. And then at centre-half forward, we have Jeremy Cameron. People are going to say that Charlie Curnow should be at full forward, but he's not a stay-at-home full forward, especially when you've got Tom Hawkins in the team. When it's him and Harry Mackay in the team, he would predominantly play that either 7.5 forward role to move up the ground and create, or he plays in the pocket. And a lot of people don't see it, but the pocket is vital when you have that third tall. And they take the third best defender. And for Carlton, they have Jack Silvani, Harry Mackay, and Charlie Curnow. And I think you could put any of those three at full forward, but I think Curnow, especially in this team, would excel as a forward pocket. Now, Hawkins is the ruckman for our forward line. He has had a lot of goal assists this year. He's been incredible at conversion as well. And then you've got Charlie Cameron just for some absolute excitement. Now, Stengel is one that misses out there. I think Dylan Moore is one of the biggest snubs. Him and Sam Doherty are the two biggest snubs, I think, from the 40-man squad. Dylan Moore being one of two players who have averaged a goal and 20 disposals for the whole year, the other being Marcus Bontempelli, who is not in our team because he's overrated. But our forward line, I would be pretty excited to be playing in that team, and even just watching that forward line go nuts. Isaac Heaney, who is, I think, one of the most exciting and dominant players in our game, along with Bolton. Bolton has gone to another level. He'd be leading the best and fairest at Richmond right now. I think he'll poll quite well in the Brownlow as well. But we'll get votes stolen off him by just about everyone in the Tigers team. Jeremy Cameron, obviously, as a centre-half forward, he has done so well at moving up the ground and creating disposals up the ground as well. He's had a lot of 20-plus disposal games, and that's from moving upfield and creating space for Hawkins to go nuts in the forward line, but also kicking goals as well and kicking a lot on the run. So that's our forward line. I would love to watch this team play. Like, you have Sam Taylor, Stewart, Sicily, Sinclair, May, and Maynard, and then Cameron, Heaney, Cameron, Hawkins, Kerner, and Bolton already. Now, the midfield, I've got, I think, two genuine wingmen. If teams had their full strength side, then these two players would play on the wing in their teams. And they are Josh Dacos and Sam Walsh. Yes, both of them have played in the midfield, inside mid, a lot this year. Dacos has done that when Taylor Adams has been out, and Walsh has done that when Hewitt and Kennedy and those types and Chera have been out as well. So this is vital for them to be in the side. So there are wingmen. Genuine wingmen. Hugh McCluggage is probably the unluckiest to miss out for a wing spot. He's been incredible this year. But yeah, I think it's an exciting year to finally have two genuine players on that wing role that are running kilometres every game, that are getting disposals, that are converting goals as well, and creating opportunity for that outside run. And that's what a wingman does. They run back and forth, they run up and down the ground and create for their players everywhere around the ground. They're not just staying on that one side, but if you're on the left-hand wing, you're coming into the middle and you're creating through the middle as well. And Walsh and Dacos have done that quite nicely this year. Now, our midfield. I'm probably going to get a few comments for this midfield, but we've got Clayton Oliver, we got Andrew Brayshaw, and Touk Miller, with the big Gold Coast captain, Jared Witts, as our ruckman. Now, Gawn could have easily gone in that ruck role, but he missed a lot of footy, hasn't been as consistent as last year, and played a lot as a forward. He didn't play that number one ruck role for a lot of the year because you have someone like Luke Jackson playing that role. Clayton Oliver, obvious in that midfield. Touk Miller as well. I think Touk is winning the Brownlow this year, close with Brayshaw behind him. And then Oliver will get votes stolen off him, but I think he will be in that top 10 as well. So it's really exciting. Like, you got Walsh and Dacos on a wing, Witts tapping down to Oliver, Miller, and Brayshaw. Brayshaw, I think, is one of the most promising A-grade midfielders in the comp. I'm so excited to see how him and Caleb Sarong develop over the years. Hopefully they stick together at Freo, because I think that is a formidable midfield to go up against. All right, to our bench. I have got a sub, and he is the player that could literally play any role, has played just about every role this year, and that is Mark Blitzarves. Now, he'd fit in the team quite easily. If we didn't have a sub, then I'd take out one of the mids I've got on the bench. But right now, he is the sub because he's the definition of a substitute. If you lose a ruckman, he goes in there. If you lose a midfielder, he goes in there. If you lose a forward or a defender, he does that as well. If you lose a wingman, he can go on the wing as well. So he's one of the best athletes in our competition, and I would love to have him at the Hawks, but unfortunately, he's not in our age bracket. He's in Geelong's. So to round out our interchange, we got Patrick Cripps, Lachie Neale, Callum Mills, and Tyson Stengel. Mills is one of the most underrated players in the comp right now. He has gone to another level. A captain of the Sydney Swans, one of 3. He's amazing to watch. He is very skillful. His pressure is incredible. And then you look at Tyson Stengel. We needed another small forward just to fit into this side. He's so exciting. He reminds a lot of people of Eddie Betts, and so to it, like Eddie is coaching him, he's helping him, and Stengel has gone from being a low-grade player at Adelaide to coming to Geelong and dominating in that side and helping them to get to where they are right now, which is really exciting. Lachie Neale, obvious choice in there. He has had an incredible season, and I think if it wasn't for players like McCluggage, even Harris Andrews, Charlie Cameron, those types of plays at Brisbane, he'd win a Brownlow this year. Could be wrong. He'll be up there. He'll be in top 10 along with our other midfielder on the bench in Patrick Cripps. They'll both be up there, but they have players stealing off them. So, like any era where a team is succeeding and doing well, they're going to have players stealing off them. So Patrick Cripps, who I think is one of the best players in the comp, but this year he did fall off in the middle part of the year. Lachie Neale kept going, but I'd still have Oliver, Miller and Brayshaw over those 2 in the middle. But having them on the bench, Cripps can go forward if need be. Very much like a Heaney type role, where Heaney is the opposite, where he plays predominantly forward but can go on the midfield. And then Cripps plays predominantly midfield but can swing forward, and he's worked on his goal kicking this year, which has taken him to another level, which is amazing. Blitzarves, I'm going to be blown away if he doesn't make the All-Australian team tomorrow night. But yeah, that is our All-Australian team for 2022. Out of the 40, I think Sam Doherty is the biggest snub. Everyone's going to say Nick Dacos, but you would not put him on that half-back flank role instead of Maynard, instead of Sinclair, instead of Stewart can move up there as well, instead of Blitzarves, instead of Mills. Like, you just wouldn't. Instead of Rioli, you wouldn't do it. I think there's 10 to 20 other players that could do it before Nick Dacos. He's had a great year for a first-year player, but that doesn't mean anything in terms of All-Australian. You got to still be able to be better than the player that's on your list that's in that position as well, and that's Maynard. He is the best half-backer at Collingwood. Yes, can play back pocket, probably played mostly back pocket, but his line breaking is incredible. But yeah, what a season it's been for a lot of these players. I can't wait to see Josh Dacos hopefully go to another level next year. Freo keep improving with Brayshaw and who they've got in their team. You could have easily had Barras instead of May after May kind of fell off a little bit. But yeah, so that if we didn't have a sub, the player I'd probably take out would either be Stengel or Cripps. I wouldn't drop Neale. I wouldn't drop Mills. They've been too dominant this year. But I think it'd be either Stengel or Cripps that'd miss out for Blitzarves to be in that team. So it means that you got Stewart, you got Cameron, you got Hawkins in that team with Blitzarves as well. That's a lot of Geelong players, but done very well to get there. And then obviously you got Cripps, Walsh, Curnow in there as well for the Blues, and Sicily being, I think, the Hawks' next captain, coming out from an ACL. He has absolutely blitzed the competition, and now an absolute stalemate in the defence at the Hawks, and will be, I think, another All-Australian in coming years as well. well, that is our All-Australian for 2022. Hope you enjoyed it. Let us know what you think, what you'd change or what you'd fix up. And also tell us what we did well, what position you think could have been for someone else, or just where a player could have gone elsewhere. But thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Yeah, we'll see you in episode 3. Peace.